My name is Francis. I'm an addict, and it really is my privilege to introduce this guy. I first met him. I didn't even meet him. I observed him at the Sierra Sage convention. He was in the hospitality room, and this homeless guy was trying to get a ride back to Sacramento. And I was just praying that he wouldn't ask me for a ride. But then when he asked Stan, Stan said, "Yeah, let's make a plan. Meet me here Sunday morning." And he was just totally willing. And I'm like, I I just remember praying for that kind of willingness to be helpful to anyone after witnessing what he did for that man. I don't know if the guy showed up, but like just watching somebody be that selfless moved me. And then I got to get to be friends with Stan through this meeting and doing some history stuff together. He's on our Northern California History Committee. He was a friend of Bob Berg's and Buddy Kronberg's out of San Francisco. So, and he has a brother that has a story in the basic text, so that doesn't help with his history credibility. So, without any further ado, Stan W. from San Francisco.
Wow. Thanks, Francis. I'm an addict named Stanley. And that is so funny. I just need to thank the God of our understanding. And no, the guy didn't show up, Francis. And Francis, if the guy got in my car, he wouldn't have did nothing but went to sleep. And it'd have been okay. Yeah, I'd have gave him a ride back, And that's just what I've learned here in Narcotics Anonymous, man. Because I've been that guy. I want to thank all the readers, man. Thank you. And before I get started, because it was read from the 11th tradition, and the 11th tradition simply says, I'm kind of nervous, so I'm going to have to read it. I don't want to quote it and misquote it. It says, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need to always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and film. See, I come here as a reader. My mother answered to all the questions was read a book. So when I come to Narcotics Anonymous, you guys told me to read. Reading was just part of my recovery. So what I've learned how to do, and that's how I read the basic text, is I'll close my eye and I'll point to something and I'll read it. And that's how I've been able to read the guiding principle. I'll turn my back and I'll turn to a page, and whatever I land on, that's what I'll read. And I landed on this page, and this page it was heartfelt for me when I read it. And it also took me to chapter 8. So I'm going to read you that sentence in chapter 8. And then we do recover. And it simply said, the wordless language of recognition, belief, and faith, which we call empathy, creates the atmosphere in which we could feel time, touch reality, and recognize spiritual value long lost to many of us. It's in the part we do recover is in the italic. And my understanding, Jimmy K wrote that. What a blessing for this literature to take me to our predecessor. The connection that I got as a newcomer really identified this reading. When I got here, there was this particular meeting in San Francisco that I used to go to every Saturday night. And the God of my understanding put me in the midst of those predecessors I call teachers. So they taught me. I was 47 years old when I got clean. My clean date is June 2nd, 1995. So the God of my understanding sit me in the midst of those teachers. And what those teachers suggest to me was those stories. In other words, listen to those stories, Stanley. And that's what I did. And I heard a story I was trying to figure out today, and I know what it was. If between me being 1 year clean or 2 years clean. I don't know if I was still in treatment. I did 14 months of treatment. So I might even still been in treatment when I heard this one particular speaker, and he's still a friend of mine today. And he was in double digit clean time when this situation happened to him in his life. What happened to this guy is he had two sisters OD. He got evicted from his apartment and he lost his job all in a 1 month time, and he didn't get loaded. And I was sitting next to my sponsor, and I'm like, so I had some 4-letter words I used at that time. And I'm like, he got to be lying. Can't nobody go through that and don't get loaded, don't go use some drugs or whatever. My sponsor, like, you need to just go up to the meeting and talk to him. Today, that guy's a good friend of mine. And I really connected with that gentleman after that meeting. And we're friends today. And this reading talks about connect us to each other and bring us some hope. The empathy, the relating to him, or the sympathy, just the feeling what he was feeling at that moment connected me to you guys. And I mean in this fellowship or this community called Narcotics Anonymous, because I wasn't even sure if I wanted to stay here at that moment until I connect with this guy. He also talked about not knowing how to read when he got here. So I heard those stories when I got here. Because I want to separate myself from you guys when I got here. I was educated. I come out of an educated household. My daddy was a politician. My mother was an educator, you know? So I wanted to separate myself from you guys. And I heard the message. It also talks about in the 10th tradition, in the guiding principle book, the message. Listen to the message and not the mess. So I didn't need to know how many cars you had in your driveway or what kind of job you had or how many girlfriends you had. I need to know how you not use. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what my sponsor and his friend kept saying. Listen to those stories, Stanley. So around 11 years clean, when I was in a crisis, that story kept me from getting loaded. That story I heard 11 years ago kept me from getting loaded. What happened to me, I was sitting with some people and some untreated or unresolved issues surfaced in my life, and I found myself sobbing and crying. What happened was my daddy's death came up, my sister's death came up, and I think Buddy's death came up, and I didn't know how to handle it. All at once, and I became a basket case. And I thought about this brother who told me what he went through and didn't use. I'm like, well, I don't have to use either. Just that one story. That one story, that connectedness, that this literature, this reading that you guys just read, and the message experience, it was a heartfelt message, in other words, to me. When we find the message in our experience, what we have been through become useful. That message became useful to me at that moment. And that's not the only story that I have heard over the years that has become useful. I tell sponsees today, you can know the literature all you want to, but I've known people who know the literature, can quote the literature inside and out, upside and down, got loaded. I need to be able to walk this stuff. So, sponsee, I would like for you to walk this stuff. You can quote it, but I need you to walk this stuff. And that's what I was told by those teachers at the completion of my first set of 12 steps. Now, Stanley, you need to live it. So I've been able to live it. We listen to each other like our life depends on it. What it's saying. Just one little sentence. And my life do depend on it. And I'm real clear. You guys tell me, and other recovering folks tell me, every time I go to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, the best thing I can look for if I get loaded is jails, institutions, and death. So my life do depends on it. I don't have no hustle. I was homeless when I got here. So my life do depends on me sitting down in the front row or even in the back. If I sit in the back, because I'm known to sit in the back, I got a story about that one too. I'm known to sit in the back, but I still need to be focused on the message. And if I just get 5 minutes of the message that'll get me through these 24 hours, I'm okay. There's a friend of mine who celebrated 19 years today. I text him. He reminds me every time we talk, when he was brand new and he was at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting and he was running out the door and I stopped him because I was sitting in the back by the door. And he is so grateful that I stopped him and had him sit down, and here it is 19 years later, he's still here. He said he was on the way out the door, he was leaving. He was gone. And all I can tell him is that you were ready, man. You were ready. He said, I was leaving, Stanley, but you stopped me, man. You got me a cup of coffee, you set me back down. But I was gone, Stanley. He was a youngster, he's 19 years clean now. He ain't about 35 years old or something like that, 40 years old. He was a kid. And I stopped him because I sit in the back at that meeting and I stopped him. And I texted him today to help him celebrate his 19 years clean. And he always tells me, Stanley, man, thank you, man. And I just, bro, you're just ready, man. You're just ready. The message, heartfelt messages. We all have them. The details do not really matter. It's how you get through it. So when people come to meetings and they talk about stuff, I really like for them to come back and tell me how they got through it. Don't leave me hanging, man. Please don't leave me hanging. Or if I see you somewhere, let me know how you got through it. I've been able to do that. When I have a crisis in my life, I've been able to come back and let people know, hey, this is what I did. Or I had to reach up and grab a third step. I had to remember about a third step. I had to remember that I turned it over to a God of my understanding some 20 odd years ago. And I had to remember how I woke up this morning, had to turn it over and let God's will be done in my life and just give me the power to carry it out, man. In other words, I had to surrender on a regular basis. The details are not so important as how I do it. I relax. I keep it simple. I've always had a sponsor. I've always had a sponsor. My first sponsor passed away at 14 and a half years clean, and I got on a quest to get a new sponsor. But I've always had a sponsor. When people ask me to share my experience, strength, and hope, that's a simple task. My experience is the times that I came in here, because I tried this thing before this time was stuck. The times I came in here and I did not have a sponsor, I got loaded. So you don't need to drop me on my head to let me know what happens to me when I don't have a sponsor. I'm real clear what happens to Stanley when you don't have a sponsor. I get loaded. So I'll never not have a sponsor. I'll never not have someone that I'll be accountable to. I'll never not have some kind of support network. Might not have a great large support network. 3 or 4 guys is good enough for me. I don't need to have 20 men in my support network. 3 or 4 or 5 guys is good enough for me. And they scattered all over the world. Not all over the world, all over the United States. I got a good friend in Philadelphia around my age. We talk regularly. My friend Steve is here today. We talk regularly. My sponsor's here today. We talk regularly. That's good enough for me. Somebody that I'm truly, honestly with. I didn't know how to do that when I got here. I like this part down here in the bottom where it talks about in our relation with the public. I'm retired. I retired from working for the state of California, but at the end of my work history, I was working in the clinic with doctors and psychiatrists in therapy. And I wore Narcotics Anonymous t-shirts all the time. No one questioned me about my journey and when I was using. But I had some relationship with some of the doctors because they went to parties. I went to parties with them. I remember one doctor, I'm like, Doc, I didn't have enough 7-Ups. I got to go, man. How many 7-Ups can I drink at one party, Doc? He said, I understand, Stanley. So I got to go. But what happened was When I did have an intimate conversation with some of those doctors, and they realized that I can help their clients, they start sending me some of their clients. And then they start coming to me and ask me, what did I tell their clients? I didn't tell their clients anything. I just let them clients dig in their gut like I dug in my guts. And they realized the clients realized what they had to do for their own self to give you a clean test, doc. See, all my answers, you can't see it. I always pat on my belly. All my answers have been right here in my gut. I just didn't know how to tap into it until you guys gave me the 12 steps. I don't get a client's 12 steps because they don't go to 12-step meeting, but I let them know that you have your answers inside, man. If you want to get some take home from your doctor, give him some clean tests. How'd I do that? You got your answer right there. You know what you need to do. So when I share with the public, which is the doctors and the therapists and the psychiatrists who I work with, I don't divulge that I shot heroin, man. They don't know what I did. They know I go to Narcotics Anonymous because my t-shirts say NA. I just tell them what NA does for me. NA gives me an outlet. You guys give me an outlet. When my sponsor died, I was standing there talking to a coworker, and my psychiatrist friend walked in. And when he walked in, I'm like, Doc, can I talk to you for a minute? And I went back in his office and I told him about my sponsor who just died this morning. And he gave me a free session, man. I didn't have to tell him my history. I just need to tell him how I was feeling. This is what Narcotics Anonymous is giving me, the ability to talk about how I'm feeling at the moment. My sponsor talked about being current. And this is what the message I get from you guys is, being current. This is what this guy talked about when I first heard him 20-some odd years ago about being current. Yes, he got evicted. Yes, he lost his job. Yes, he had 2 sisters OD, but he's not going to use for today. You understand what I'm saying? The empathy, the me feeling his pain, or me sharing with my sponsor my pain, or a sponsor sharing with me his pain, or another recovering individual sharing his pain with me, or we just having coffee and we sharing some stuff with one another. The message of recovery is there. That's really important. And then sometimes when I talk to my sponsor, we just talk about the 49ers. I'm connected. Practicing the personal anonymity is essential. The word essential to me is very important of attraction. Of attraction. And all I can think about when I saw that word is, welcome everybody on this platform. Let me know how much time I got left, Francis. There's 31 of us here. So welcome all 31 of you guys. You guys just joined the PR subcommittee, whether you know it or not. The way we present
11
ourselves.
minutes.
Huh?
11 minutes.
Okay. The way we present ourselves out in the community, the way we present ourselves in the Bank of America, the way we present ourselves in the supermarkets, the way we present ourselves at the conventions. At the convention, when we pass those people who are working at those people who work in the hotels, those clerks. Some of those clerks might be sick and suffering addicts. Some of those clerks might have family members who are sick and suffering addicts. So the way we present ourselves at those conventions can tell some of those clerks, maybe we might need to go down there and see some of them people in Narcotics Anonymous. Or maybe they can tell their family members, go down there and see some of them people in Narcotics Anonymous. I was at Safeway here in San Francisco. I had an NA t-shirt on, and the cash register guy, he left his job and walked out in the parking lot with me because he's a sick and suffering addict. He wanted to know what could he do. I hadn't said nothing. My t-shirt spoke for itself. And we stayed out in the parking lot for another 30 minutes. I gave my number. I told him about some meetings. This is a program of attraction, not promotion. I don't know if he ever went to a meeting. I know he never called me. So it's important for me to walk what I talk. So at any given moment, I'm a part of the PR subcommittee, man. And real clear, I was sitting in my dentist chair one day a few years ago, and he leaned over and whispered in my ear. He said, Stan, I'll be having 12 years in a couple of weeks, man. I'm like, really? Yeah, we're everywhere, man. My dentist is a part of this fellowship, man. I didn't tell him about me. I just had an NA t-shirt on sitting in the dental chair, man. Empathy brings us to the truth. That's what it says in black and white. And we share it in language beyond words. I had co-workers like, Stan, how you do it, man? This is my last job. And most of my co-workers were young enough to be my grandkids too. Like I'm 74 and they was in their 30s and they love me, man. They call me now since I'm retired, just check on me all the time, man. How you do it, Stanley? How do what? How you be so humble, man? Cause I was dealing with some clients that, you know, in the beginning was off the hook. Well, I used to be one of those off the hook clients myself. That's all I can tell you. I used to be that same client that you guys don't like. I used to be that same person. I understand him. So instead of me bringing him in the building, we'll sit out at the park bench out front at the bus stop and we'll smoke a cigarette and I do my session out there on the bench. Y'all don't want him in the building, we do my session outside. It's okay. Give me a bottle of water, we can go outside and talk. I met him where he was. I carried a message to him outside on the park bench. That's how you guys taught me, man, to meet them where they are. So after a while, they allowed him in the building because he changed. Ain't nothing I did, he was just ready. Here it is, back to the message. The wordless message. I didn't do anything, I just showed him who I was. I do a little self-disclosure. I used to be you, man. If you want what these doctors got for you, you got to change, brother. That's how simple it is. That's what y'all told me. If I want what you got, I got to do what you do. Is that what it says, something like that and how it works? So I just told them, if you want what these doctors got, you got to change, man. And you know what you got to do. I can't tell you what to do. You're a grown man. The wordless message. 11th edition, man. I'm real grateful for Narcotics Anonymous. It's a blueprint to life. It's not only a blueprint for me not to use no more, it's a blueprint to life. I got a 20-year-old son who tells me today he loves me. It ain't always been like that. When I be with my son, I got to take my recovery hat off and put my dad hat on. 12-step work just as well being a father. Then a recovering dad. Today he tells me he loves me. It ain't always been like that. One time we was battling until in the 10th edition, it talks about that spiritual principle called silence. In other words, in the 2nd edition, it talks about selflessness. In other words, my son has a voice, and sometimes I just need to shut up and let him have his voice. And when I practice those spiritual principles, that is my way of carrying a message to him that everything gonna be okay. And I understand where you're coming from, son. He's not in jail. He smokes a little weed. He's always at home when I call him. His mother's real sickly, so he's at home taking care of her. And it's because of the message I carry to him. So I know I'll be with you guys an hour and a half, but I got 22 and a half hours to be with the real world. How do I address the real world? I see there's long lines in different places. I just wait till the time of day when not such a long line. Simplicity is the key. God's will for me is to be my own true self, man. And I think this is what I'm getting for this. So I write in my book. So if you know that I'm looking now, I got all kinds of notes. I write in my books, man. And God's will for me is to be my own true self. And that's what the 11th tradition has given me. The ability to be my own true self, man. Sometimes I'm hurting. When I'm hurting, I'll call another recovering brother. Like Francis said, I got a brother who had a story in the basic text, but I also got 4 brothers who's been clean more time than me. I got 26 years. I'm the oldest and the last one to get clean. I got 4 other brothers who got clean in Narcotics Anonymous. And there's 3 of us that go to meetings on a regular basis. I got 2 brothers that got 37 and 38 years. I'm the oldest and got the least amount of time. My baby brother, who is 12 years younger than me, and hey, he got more time than me. But we talk on a regular basis. So I can call one of them guys, man. He's just in a different part of the state. So I recognize the time. I don't know what it's saying, JB, but I recognize it. Anyway, you know, it's important that I listen, which is part of carrying a message. Active listening is part of a message. The art of listening is what I got from you guys. What I got from those guys who got here before me. See, I didn't hear that shut up, sit your so-and-so down in the chair and, you know, I didn't get all that old rudeness that I hear people talk about. I'm so glad I didn't, because I might have left. I got love and kindness when I got here, man. I got hugs, and we'll get your coffee for you, and here's some cookies, put in your pocket, take home with you, and we love you when I got here. That's what I got when I got here. And if you need a ride, we'll take you. I don't care where you're going, we'll take you. That's what I got when I got here. That's the kind of message I got, man. And I am so grateful for those who came before me. I am so grateful for those who came alongside me. I am so grateful for those who came after me. I am truly grateful for the literature. I know the literature. I don't need you to read it to me. I know the literature. I know I'm powerless. I know I need to have a connection with the God of my understanding. I know the spiritual principle of carrying the message. I know how simple this program can be. I know I can complicate it. So that's why I just relax and don't. I know the point of having some balance in my life. I know the point to call my sponsor on a regular basis. I know the point of drinking plenty of water and having some nourishment. I know the point of eating healthy. I know the importance of seeing my doctor on a regular basis. I didn't see that sign, JB, so what does that mean? I got a few minutes or what? Where are you?
You can go till 8 o'clock if you want, Stan.
I don't have no clock in front of me yet, so.
Rock with it.
I'm gonna wrap it up.
You still got 12 minutes if you want it.
No, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm done, man. That's one thing I learned a long time ago. I don't care how much time you give me. When I'm done, I'm done. So the bottom line is I didn't see any new members when I got here. But what I really want to do is just thank everybody. And Francis, thank you. And thank Charles for reading the birthdays, and JB for doing part of service, and the people who came here to support me. And the bottom line is carrying the message is not something I came in here knowing. It's all about prayer and meditation. And the bottom line is I know all I need to know, and I know how to stop the pain. And I'm an addict named Stanley. Thank you guys for listening to me, man.
Love you, Stan.
Thank you, man. Thanks, JB.
All right. Thanks for sharing tonight, Stanley. It says, I would like to open the meeting up. If you'd like to share, please raise your hand or send me a message in the chat. Please keep your shares 3 to 5 minutes to allow others to share. If you exceed 5 minutes, we will screen share a message for you to wrap it up. And so I need some hands of people that would like to share. And there are some messages in the chat if you'd like to take a look at them about Paradise Book Study. Anyway, thank you, Stanley, for sharing.
Thank you, Jody.
And here's Debbie and Danny, and I'm going to ask them to unmute.